This episode of The Republic is brought to you by World of Tanks. If you guys want some free stuff, everybody loves free stuff, head on over to gboffer.com/tanks, make a new account, and make sure to use the invite code GBTV. It's going to get you some free loots. Tank, in-game gold. Yeah, you know you want it. gboffer.com/tanks.
Game Breaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Republic. It's episode, 185 for June, 22nd? 23rd? I don't even know anymore. Lose track of days, times. 22nd. It's the 22nd. We're going to talk about Update 2.8. It's hit the live servers. It's brought a few issues with it as well, so we'll talk about those. And, I don't know, we got our first look at the Tatooine house. Of course, joining us as always from Massively and right here on Game Breaker is Larry Everett. How are you, sir?
I'm good. And the Hyperspace Beacon, although it is on hyperspacebeacon.com, it is also back on Massively as well.
Yay!
There you
go. So, yay.
Go to the hyperspacebeacon.com.
Yes.
That's basically what he's saying. He doesn't want to say that. He's just saying, awesome. Go over to hyperspacebeacon.com. And Laura Williams joining us as always with a new haircut.
Yay, new haircut. Yes, I'm glad to be back. I've missed everyone.
I know, it's been a while. We've been, kind of crazy schedules
my brother
and all that
got
stuff.
married, and then I got a cold. My brother got married. We never thought it was going to happen. And I discovered that Monterey is freezing. It was horrible.
Really? Northern California, Monterey, freezing.
It didn't get above 65 for more than 3 minutes. The rest of the time it was about 50 degrees there. And I was dressed for it to be
50 to 65, freezing.
80. It was freezing. When I'm wearing stuff that's dressed for 75, 80 degree weather, yeah. 50
you got to come down to SoCal.
Really
you got to come down to SoCal for that. Never. It's like 85 here today. Never changes. That's like Los Angeles, San Diego weather. All right, we're back.
That before I pack.
It's an odd week. I guess we're doing this on a Sunday. We got shows a little scheduled to get back to shape in normal mode soon-ish. TM. Things are still a little hanging around, working on some stuff. So, but next month sometime we'll probably get back to normal. All right, let's talk about some SWTOR. So, what's going on? The Spoils of War Update 2.8. It is now arrived.
We can gamble all our money away. Yeah.
And we might have. I mean,
you might have.
Yeah.
You might be broke. Are you pawning stuff?
Broke.
They should have put a pawn shop in. That'd be kind of funny. You could pawn stuff off to get money.
That would be awesome. That would be
probably take that BioWare, run with it. Put a pawn shop. You could trade your stuff in for really low amount of money, more than the vendor though, or something. I don't know.
I don't know if we talked about this on the last show or not, but I was able to. I actually didn't spend all my money. I only spent $400K and got all the achievements. There's some people that are spending tens of millions of credits.
Oh wow! So you got away. 400K is getting away real easy.
And the tears on the forums are delicious. Oh, they are so delicious.
What are they nerd raging about? How much it cost?
Oh my God! A credit sink is a.
But it's people trying to get their Rancor off of the Kingpin slot machines, and just some people have spent 10, 20 million plus credits, and they're like, I don't understand why I haven't gotten it yet.
Because it's gambling. It's like going to Vegas being like, I don't know why I haven't won $1 million yet. Larry, did you get the Rancor?
I did. Yeah, that
so
was one of the achievements.
That's one of the achievements? Wow, so you got it.
I got all the achievements. What's funny is the Rancor is not the hardest achievement to get. The hardest achievement to get is the machine blowing up on you. And I got that one on my 4th machine.
Oh, see, I haven't had that yet. But I got the Rancor and then I stopped playing. I was like, well, I'm done.
Done.
Got the Rancor, got the car. Don't care.
Let's talk about the pack, bug testing wise. The last few patches, you have sounded pretty solid. Has that been the experience with 2.8?
Yeah, for the most part, it's been solid. As far as mechanics are concerned, they didn't really have anything things like that, but there was unfortunately some bugs really early on that have since been stomped, thank goodness. But yeah,
it looks like quite a few issues slipping through on 2.8, huh?
Yeah.
What's going on with these area transition problems? What is that all about?
Well, I know that some people have, at least the people that I've talked to that have had this issue, is that they would log in and get to the splash screen and just hang there forever, indefinitely, and not be able to log in at all. There was also there was a little bit of an issue at the very beginning with not being able to install all the way. I ran into that issue, but it eventually fixed itself, or they fixed it, or something along that line, fairly quickly. But most of it has to do with transitions. Like there was like when you're logging on, when you're going from one phase to the next, when you take a shuttle, those kinds of things.
Trying to use your priority transports in your legacy, if you bought those legacy perks. Those
kinds of things. And I'm not really sure. They didn't really explain too much.
Well, they said it was because of the trying to make the group finder 16-man. Right. And so when they reverted that back down from 16 to 8-man again, that fixed a lot of the problems that people had with being able to log into the game or use their legacy perks.
Which is confusing to me, really, when it comes down to it. I understand. I don't obviously know anything about that back end, but the logic just does how that one. It kind of amazes me, actually, how integrated all the systems are. That because you can't it's having a bog down with the 16-man group finder queues, you suddenly can't log in, that's weird to me. That's the weirdest thing to me. I don't know.
Don't cross the streams, Ray.
That's pretty much what it sounds like, right?
That's exactly what happened. And we
how widespread? I mean, the other thing besides logging in, lack of group finder rewards. That's also another thing that's been popping up.
That is actually
saying they couldn't complete it.
Right.
Like if somebody dropped out of the group, they wouldn't get credit for running a group finder instance, and suddenly they just didn't have rewards.
How widespread have these been? Have you guys seen a lot of this? Were you guys affected, or people you're playing with?
I didn't really run into it personally, or didn't actually know anybody personally that I could think of. I mean, but obviously it existed, and was it was a pretty big deal, especially when you're considering. I mean, something that they were really emphasizing with this patch, and to have this big of an issue with it. It was a huge change. And I expected different bugs, but I expected like groups not popping at all, which is kind of what I thought was happening at the beginning on our server. But I never actually hit. Unfortunately, I didn't hit the group finder early on. I wasn't able to hit it at prime times, so I unfortunately wasn't able to test it early on. But we did eventually do the group finder, but it was already dropped down to 8-man by that time.
What do you guys? I mean, so what do you take on BioWare's response to? So like what you were just talking about there, where the whole 2.8 was bringing the whole redesign of the group operation finder, and it was increased to 16 players to help with queue times and of damage dealers and things like that, and then they had to hotfix it back to 8, like you said, which is kind of weird. And basically they came but what's weird is, like, I don't know. They said that they sort of made it sound as if that there's no way they could have tested this or seen this coming before they actually put it on live servers. Is that just because nobody's on the test server?
That's kind of the issue, and I don't see how they could have known this issue existed before, or at least some of these issues existed before pushing it to live, because nobody
gets on live to test things like this. People go on live to test events, or you get the raiders that go on to test the new Nightmare content and work towards their world firsts. And this just wasn't something that people are going to log on and say, oh, let me run a group finder and see how that works.
Yeah, it's
plus for the fact that typically on Test Center, I mean, it's like the first day or two that you're going to see a lot of people on there, and then after that, it's really just people coming in premates for something that they specifically want to look at, like the raids, or I should say the new like Nightmare content, progression content.
Exactly. Yeah. People just don't log on to Test Center, and
it's always been a problem for SWTOR.
It is, but the biggest thing it goes back to, there's no real incentive to test things out on PTS unless you're in a high-end raiding guild and want to figure out all the raid content before that happens, or if you're wanting to see what an event is like. And
what if they gave you achievements? What if they gave you like X number of hours achievement from Test Center, and then that kind of carries over to live? Do they have something like that?
They did at one point.
Back at the beginning. They had people that went on. Before you were able to copy characters over to Test Center, you had to physically level on Test Center. And I know that for a certain level progressions that you reached, they would award special titles, and I think you got achievements that would carry over to live. But I do only get if you had done it.
I do think that it is something that they should possibly think about. At least it would get some of the people over onto Test Center, the ones that want, that are looking for some of the high-end achievements, or the achiever group of people that play MMOs. I think that would be something that at least they should consider, or rewards of some sort. I don't know. I mean,
they're also saying that only subscribers can get on Test Center as well. So it's not even like it's open to the public where everybody can see it beforehand.
You should just make Test Center like the unofficial official RP server, and just have everybody just go to Test Center. Just use that as your own. You have like your own private place to just hang out because there's nobody else there.
The thing is, in going back to SWG, that kind of was there.
Really?
There was a bunch of there was a bunch of people.
There was a community on Test Center that became that's. What do they do?
Yeah, it was a role play. Well, basically what they did, because of the way it was set up, it was its own server, and it was basically like any other server that was out there, except that it would get all the patches first. And so they would just play as they normally would, and whenever a new patch came out, they were the first ones to get it, and they were the first ones to run into the bugs and things along that line. And in the meantime, they would do what any other server would do, and there was actually a roleplay community that hung out on Test Center for a while. It was
Techno's yelling at me in chat room, telling me to shut up, and I don't know what that's in reference to, whether it's the RP server or an achievement to go on Test Center.
No idea.
I don't know what that is. But
I would be in favor of them putting achievements back on Test Center.
I would.
Even as Wildcard says, at least give people custom gear or something for working and going over there and testing the content.
I don't know how much of the population are completionists, but at least you would target that portion of the community that would want to go over and do that. Like, give them something. Well, I don't know if it's large enough to even make a dent in the whole system, but maybe it is.
If you throw in special rewards, kind of like they've done with PvP and those kinds of things, not necessarily the same rewards. I mean, obviously you're not going to get gear and whatnot, but during season 1 of PvP, they gave out rancors and mini pets and things like that for achieving certain levels in
well, this is the RP server. They should just give it. It's lap dances. Like, that's the RP station.
That's right.
With all your naked Twi'leks.
There you go. They make base Test Center the. There you go. Anyway, all right. Let's talk about the casinos though, because that's really like the big. The Thanar Shaddaa casino has come to life. We kind of touched on a little bit there, but all right. So I don't know. Have you spent all your money at the slots yet?
400K.
No.
400K, and you're done.
Literally got off the cheapest of anyone I know.
I know. I really
have you seen anybody on the forums that have gotten off cheaper than you?
You know what?
I heard that there was some dude who
spent zero.
He didn't spend any money. He took the starter quest from the fleet that sends you to the Star Cluster Cantina or casino, and it gives you 5 smugglers coins tokens. And he played those, got a Kingpin token, got the Got Lucky buff, went over to the Kingpin token, and got the Rancor first thing. Didn't spend a dime.
Nice.
Now the thing is that's the only thing I haven't heard anybody talk about the achievements, but I really haven't looked to see if anybody got all the achievements for less than 400K. This guy got the Rancor for free, which is
awesome.
mind-boggling.
But you might have sort of like
There's
a world
always
first
that one
achievement
dude.
here.
But I mean, it is distinctly possible. I'm trying to think. No, it's not possible. It's not even possible. You've got to spend some sort of money. I mean,
to get all
the achievements?
To get all the achievements. Because you need at least 15 of the golden certificates, and you'd have to be I mean, the luckiest guy in the whole world to spend what are they 1,000 each? To spend less than 10,000. If you spent 10,000 is like the
minimum,
the least you could. Yeah, that was absolute minimum.
What's the population like? Are there just tons of people hanging out here? Do you think it's a success?
Well, it was really packed the first day with everybody going and taking a look at it, and of course just spending their money left and right. About a week later, when I finally got in to do it, there was still a good deal of people there, but it seemed a little bit more spread out. I didn't have to fight with people over trying to get slot machines.
Yeah, the first day I literally could, at some points, I could only get one machine, and then other times I would have to actually wait for a machine or two to open up before I could actually grab it. That's how many.
How's it been for you now, Lara? Open machines?
I actually went back, and
you're done. You're just done. You're just.
Well, I did go back just to see if there was something I needed to get, and I totally forget what it was, or wanted to get.
The server droid.
It was something on the. It was something on one of my other characters, and I forget what it was off the top of my head. But I had to, and I was able to get 4 machines going because you can do 4 at a time, and in the cycle because of the way it works. And I was able to get 4 later. Last week, I think it was.
What's both of your takes on it? I mean, we kind of speculated on, could this be a test for something larger to maybe add things like Pazak and Sabak and like other games? And I don't know. Do you think that this whole idea of a casino and gambling and games and money sink has been a success? Do you think that they'll eventually put this back in the game? Because we know this is going away at this point. Right. But I kept saying, I wonder if this is going to come in the game and stay in the game and even add to it.
I think that having this as a money sink is absolutely necessary almost for this game, because there's some people there's just nothing for them to spend money on, and this is kind of an incentive to spend some of their credits on that. But that being said, I don't necessarily think that this is the best way to go about it. I think that it's far too simplistic. And it doesn't entice beyond getting the prizes. And once they get to a certain level of spending so many credits, they're done with it because it's really, really boring to just sit there and go over and over again and click on the same thing. I mean, you literally are in like a 2-foot radius and just clicking 4 machines over and over again.
So they need to make the gaming a little bit more fun, basically.
Right. So if they add, so I'm really cool with the gambling and things along that line. So if they added things like roulette or Pazak or Sabak, some sort of card game of some sort, that would be interesting.
Something to break up the monotony of clicking on slot machines.
Exactly. Keep the slot machines. Keep them.
Sure.
Just break it. give us something else to do as well.
You can't have a casino without slot machines, that's for sure. Every casino's got a slot
machine. I totally agree.
Dejark.
Interesting. Bajark.
Should add Dejark.
Oh, Dejark. It'd be like, I don't know that Dejark could work. It'd be like having chess in a casino. That you just
I think that would be an excellent idea, especially if they make it against other players. Of course, now they might have to break it down so that people could read the rules, but.
Chlorocat in the chat room says, "What the f happened to Star Wars? And the entire game has just become a gambling game. What happened to Star Wars?"
So wait a minute.
Gambling is always
been a gambling game since they put in cartel coins and you have the lottery packs.
Yeah. Okay.
That has been in the game.
On top of that, Star Wars, since Knights of the Old Republic, has had gambling that a player can do, because Pazak was gambling. It's like playing poker. Ish. It's still,
pretty much.
But that's exactly what it is, and
it's referenced several times in the game in several storylines.
Yep.
I'm all for it.
There you go.
I'm all for it.
I'm cool with it. I'm good.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about some other stuff, like actually really quick. The last thing, Nightmare Mode Dread Palace is now available. I'm sure you guys have cleared it. We don't need to go into that, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
It's on farm.
It's on farm. Totally done.
Yeah,
Nope.
Actually, we just tonight we did hard mode Dread Palace, not Nightmare Mode.
And cleared it. Yay, us.
Cleared it. So
How many weeks do you think you got before Nightmare?
But, we're starting Nightmare on Wednesday with the reset.
Right. Yeah, we're all geared. Everybody that's in our is geared to do Nightmare. So we're going.
There you go. Name of this episode: Geared to do Nightmare. All right. Got to take a quick break. Talked about our sponsor, Audible. You know I love the Audible. Love the Audible. Want to thank Audible for making this show and all the other ones here on Game Breaker possible. If you guys haven't checked out Audible, you got to check it out. It's audiobooks on your iPhone, your iOS device, your Kindle, whatever you got, iPad. And I'll hook you guys up with a free 30-day trial and a free audio book. It's a Star Wars show, so of course I picked a Star Wars one to check out this week. This is actually really cool. I don't know if anybody's checked this out, but this one is Star Wars, but it's dramatized, and it's narrated by Mark Hamill and Anthony Daniels. Let's check it. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Fixer! Fixer!
What?
Skywalker's here.
So what? Don't bother me with small fry. Where's the juice? I'm thirsty.
Here, catch one.
Hey, everybody. Where's the party?
Wherever I am, Luke. Right, Cammy?
Correct, lover.
Hey, boys. Guess what Skywalker was doing? Hey. Sitting in the Tech Dome playing an Academy recruitment tape.
Not.
Kind of an interesting way to revisit the old classic. This is the original radio drama of Star Wars, clocking in at like almost 6 hours. Pretty cool way to kind of, you know, we've all seen the movies like 8 gajillion times. Which a lot of people haven't really listened to the radio version dramatized. So check it out. You could choose that as one of your free books, or there's a bunch of others, including a bunch of Star Wars, The Old Republic. I mean, there's also, you know, I mean, the Star Wars runs deep in the Audible. You got The Empire Strikes Back. You got Return of the Jedi. You got a bunch of the SWTOR books are on there. So go over, check it out today. Make an account. Just use audible.com/GameBreaker. That's the URL you're going to want to use. And it's going to give you a free 30-day trial of the service, and you're going to get to choose one free audiobook. Of course, you don't have to choose a Star Wars book if you really don't want to. The Game of Thrones, all other good sci-fi and fantasy and all that good stuff. So check it out, and thanks Audible for supporting Game Breaker all these years. It's been years now they've been supporting us. It's crazy. Love these guys. All right, so let's this is a Star Wars show, but I want to talk about something else. Last week, we talked a little bit about WildStar. Yep, gonna talk about it again. We were wondering if BioWare could encourage any of the Star Wars players, SWTOR, if they could encourage any of the SWTOR players to log in. There were a ton of events planned throughout 2.8, aren't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of events. We've got Bounty event, which we actually was last week. There's a double XP week coming up starting July 1st through the 8th. So that's awesome. I almost feel like I need to log on and level something because it's a whole week. The Gree event is coming back July 22nd through the 29th. And they've got double comms going from now until 2.9.
What do you guys think? You think this is going to be like the norm? You think like this whole like events thing is going to really become the norm? They seem like they have a lot of events now. They do, and we kind of figured that once they started throwing in different kinds of events, once they start, they started with the Gree thing. That was kind of a testing ground for it. Then they threw in Bounty Week and all these other things, and it came to it, and the Rat Ghoul event again, which is obviously that's not happening because
we eradicated it again.
Yeah, right, again. So we had all these kinds of things happening, and we kind of figured. In fact, it was a lot of internal talk with our guild was like, I guess now they can just do one a week. They have this week and this that week, and then boom, and then you're in the next month, and you just start the cycle over again. Now, obviously, they're not doing it that way because that would be way too repetitive, and people would get bored of it. But I do like what they're doing. I do like throwing in these events because they don't have holidays, really, except for Life Day, but they don't really have holiday events. So I think this is a good replacement for it, and gives something for people to look forward to, kind of.
Well, not just that, but something that's new that they're doing is they are actually giving double comms. Like right now, they've got for Galactic Starfighter, you can earn double fleet requisition and double the amount of credits tagged onto the scoreboard at the end of a match. And that's something that they haven't offered before in the game. And that's a nice way to give people incentive to log on and play Galactic Starfighter. 2.8.1, they're going to switch over and it's going to become double Warzone comms and credits. So, and that'll be based on whatever you're doing. So if you're doing regular war zones, you'll get double the Warzone comms. If you're doing ranked, you'll get double ranked comms. That's awesome. Just a great way to encourage people to get in and try and, you know, help kind of push you along to get more gear, and build up your planes.
Part of that right there, I think, has to do with the fact that at the end of this year we're getting another expansion, and they want to give incentives for people to get the best gear that they can before that expansion comes out. And I'm hoping, now I liked McKeb, but when you had a full set of whatever the top level gear was at that point, McKeb was a breeze. It just, like, you blew right through it. And I'm hoping that things are maybe a little bit more difficult in this next expansion, so that hopefully that's one of the reasons why they're pushing people up to get better gear and whatnot, because it's, especially with like Group Finder and these incentives with PvP gear and those kinds of things, it's getting more, it's getting easier to get better gear, and I hope that is a sign that, oh, we're going to get a little bit tougher content when this next expansion comes out.
Any big class changes this patch, Lair?
Yeah, for me personally, yes. I know there's several of them, but I'm only paying attention to the Sentinel and the Marauder because they are obviously the most important. And actually, honestly, there was a change with the Annihilation spec, which is the Watchman spec on the Sentinel side, is now amazing. I love it, and
really?
It was already. I have to. It's not too easy, although it might be on the borderline of being too easy. It might need to scale back just a hair to make it a little more difficult, because I was having in my raids, in our raids and whatnot, pushing out DPS, I had to pay really tight attention to a lot of my buffs and cooldowns and things along that line, and now I can be a little bit more free with it, because one of the things is Annihilate costs less, which is our big hit at the top of the tree. That actually costs less and does more damage, which is great. We don't have to watch our rage meter as much. And the other thing is Rupture, which is one of our primary abilities that causes bleeds. That is on a it used to be 66%. It would proc. Now it's at 75%. It would proc, and you'll get Rupture. So, amongst other things, there's a couple of other things that make it a little bit easier. But I think that now I can pay more attention to what's going on in the raid and what's happening within the, I guess, the scene, if you will, versus having to stare at my UI bar the whole time, which is what I used to have to do in order to maintain good DPS. Seriously.
Have either of you guys checked out the new gunship and bomber in Galactic Starfighter?
No.
Oh no!
Has that just completely
bad.
Has that completely just run its course? No Galactic Starfighter? Nothing? Nothing?
It has for me, although it hasn't for everybody, obviously, and there's still a lot of people playing it. There's actually Techno, who's in the
I was gonna say Kyle. I think
Kyle
is still a huge champion of it.
He actually got back into it last week, so it's still something.
It's still something.
It's, you know, the thing is, it's never going to. It's another mini game. It's another one of those things that you do as an aside for, I would say, a lot of people. I won't say for everybody, because obviously there's some people that live for that kind of game. But it's a really nice, really complicated, really deep side game, and I appreciate it for what it is. It's just unfortunately not my thing.
All right. Well, BioWare showed off some pretty cool stuff at the E3 Cantina tour. I think you'll be fans of this. So we got our first look at the Tatooine homestead. Looks pretty awesome. I don't think, Laura, if I
That
remember
does
right,
look amazing.
you weren't
Look at
too
all those
happy.
umbrellas and outdoor seating.
You
like
weren't
a little
psyched about
gazebo
this
there.
though. You weren't psyched about the Tatooine thing.
Tatooine's not really my favorite planet. I mean, it's my favorite planet to quest on, but I wouldn't really want to live there.
It looks really big.
But the house looks really nice. I mean, I'm not going to say that they didn't do a good job on it because they clearly did. I mean, that's very attractive.
I think that looks amazing. I mean, that has a lot of callbacks. I mean, callbacks to especially like the first Star Wars movie. You know, had the Lars homestead. Yeah, that has a lot of callbacks to that. I mean, all the underground rooms and things along that line. And then you also have this really cool thing that you can see right there on the screen that's up on the cliffside, and that's another building or whatever you want to call it, room, if you will. That's
it's like a little
really,
balcony.
yeah, it's really cool looking, and you can look over your whole. I don't think any other stronghold has that kind of thing, that you can actually see the whole thing at one time. I mean, we know the Nar Shaddaa house, they've actually shown it from the outside, but you don't get to see it ever. When you're inside it, you don't get to see it. You're looking at it from a different perspective. But this one, you can actually look out on the balcony and see your whole house.
Yeah, the other houses look really small.
Like a
in
little
comparison.
garden and a water fountain. Then it would be perfect.
Add that. Do we know? Are there any details on exactly how you'll be able to decorate the house?
No, they said that they do not want to reveal it until it's closer to launch, because they said it's going to be different than how people think that it should work. I don't know what that means, but
I'm scared.
I have a feeling that we're going to end up with a video saying, here's how you decorate, here's how you place things.
I'm so scared. When they say stuff like that, it really makes me scared.
Got some new mounts as well.
Or the feet of new. Oh, there we go.
Now that is sweet looking. And you know what would be even better is if it had a little cannon off of it that you could fire when you were walking.
What is this actually?
Oh,
is it
so that like you wouldn't have to dismount in order to attack things.
Oh, what is the?
Is this an ATST? Kind of like,
well, it resembles that. It resembles that. That's what it calls back to. I forget what the exact name is of it off the top of my head. Yeah, that's what it calls back to. We'd actually seen pictures of that on Dolphy, but the thing is, on Dolphy's website, when you capture it on your screen,
properly, so it's so huge that all you could see were the feet.
Yeah, so that's the first time we actually saw it was from there. So it looks pretty nice. I'm pretty impressed with it. If you like the walker, it looks like it's going to be about the same size as a Rancor, as far as height is concerned. That guy right there. It'd be about the same size as a Rancor, I think. I'm just guessing. Maybe it's a little bit taller, but I don't think you can get much taller than a Rancor, because Rancors are pretty darn huge. And in fact, in some doorways, you actually clip through the top.
Your head.
Yeah, you clip through the top. So I don't think.
Little sidecar action on this one here.
Yep. That's actually just that looks like a reskin of an existing one, but it looks nice.
You can just put your feet up.
That was in game. Now you get that. That is the Vectron Magnus. Yeah.
You guys a fan of this new design that they've been running with? This whole this kind of seems to be like a theme they're going with here with this old vintage hot rod
They have
style.
the kind of a 1950s thing, because the armor that you can get from the casino event is very gangster-esque.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm also not going back, is because I am still bitter that the Tommy gun blaster rifle is not a sniper rifle. We get another lame-looking sniper rifle, and blaster rifles get another cool.
Oh, I love that Tommy gun.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
I love that Tommy gun. I have it on my
I love the Tommy
operative.
gun too, and I can't use it.
Yep.
Makes me mad.
It's really funny is I have it on my operative, but as if anybody who plays an operative knows,
you're not really whipping your gun out.
Your gun. So anyway,
last but not least,
yeah, there's the Rancor.
That's the Rancor. That is the Rancor. That's the Kingpin Rancor that you get from the event that's going on right now, and that's the one I got. You'll see me riding. You'll see me riding around with it in my Tulak Horde armor.
Obviously, that is what everyone wants for sure.
Yep.
That is the spoils of war rancor. All right, Laura Williams, follow her on the Twitter at VoidMinx, VOIDMYNX, and right here on the Republic each and every week. Always a pleasure. Mr. Larry Everett, you follow him on Twitter at ShadowSHADDOE, and of course go over to hyperspacebeacon.com and check out his SWTOR work over there, as well as right here on GameBreaker. You can follow me at Gary Gannon, follow GameBreaker TV, GameBreaker TV. Oh yeah, real quick, we talked about top of the show, but if you guys want some free stuff in World of Tanks, if you guys have never checked it out, go over today, gboffer.com/tanks, sign up, make an account, and use the invite code GBTV. We're going to give you a bunch of exclusive free stuff just for Gamebreaker peeps. A free tank, 500 in-game gold, another tank slot, all kinds of cool stuff. So invite code GBTV. Nice. Yeah, it's a sweet deal. If you never, especially if you don't have an account, man, check it out. Check it out. So just put GBTV in the invite code when you're doing the sign up. So, all right, gang, we'll do the show again next week. Great talking to you. Have a great rest of your sort of weekend, and we'll see you next week.